What's going on, everyone? Chris from Pickdawgz.com here with the Wraparound, where we're going to be breaking down the NHL action going down on Thursday, October 19th, 2023. Before we get into it, though, if you like this content, make sure you drop a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel. And if you're looking for my best bets, including my daily $19 best bet and my NHL power play, make sure you head to Pickdawgz.com and click the Premium Picks tab at the top of the page. You ready? I'm ready. Let's get into it. Our first game on Thursday takes us to the Amalie Arena, where the Tampa Bay Lightning host the Vancouver Canucks, and the Tampa Bay Lightning return home after one of the worst road trips in recent memory, losing all 3 games. They lost in overtime to the Buffalo Sabres. The first 2 games of the road trip, they gave up a combined 11 goals to the likes of Detroit and Ottawa. So Tampa Bay's got some soul searching to do, and I think they're going to have some troubles up until Andrei Vasilevskiy comes back. Probably early December is what it's looking like. But I still think they can do some damage here against the Vancouver Canucks. The Vancouver Canucks, they held down the Edmonton Oilers for the most part, but they still gave up their fair share of goals. They also gave up a couple of goals to the Philadelphia Flyers. And this is, you could argue, this Tampa Bay Lightning team is going to be the most complete offense they've played to date. On the other side, the Canucks, I'm not sold on the goaltending here necessarily, but I still think that the Canucks will be able to get some goals here on Tampa Bay. Like I said, Johansson and Matt Tompkins, just not the combination I'm looking for Tampa Bay. I think we got a high-scoring game in this one. I'm going to go with the over 6.5. Next, we head to the Key Bank Center, where the Buffalo Sabres take on the Calgary Flames, and the Buffalo Sabres taking out the Tampa Bay Lightning last time out. They're getting their first win of the season. Meanwhile, Calgary dropping back-to-back games on their road trip after a 3-2 shootout loss to the Washington Capitals. Could potentially be seeing Dan Vladar listed as the starter for the Calgary Flames coming into this game. And I've been a Vladar fan, going back to last year. I think that's been well documented when Rod and I were doing our videos together. Not necessarily sold on the Buffalo Sabres long term either, but I will say that I just feel that maybe the Buffalo Sabres are in the better spot being at home here. It's where they played their better hockey last season, and historically between these two teams, the road teams had the success, including Calgary winning each of the last 5 in Buffalo. But I'm not ready to back the Flames just yet. I think that they are an underdog in this matchup for a reason. Not one of my favorite games on the board, but I will lean towards the Buffalo Sabres on the money line here. Next, we head to the FLA Live Arena, where the Florida Panthers host the Toronto Maple Leafs in a playoff rematch from last season. And the Florida Panthers finally got their first win last time out against the New Jersey Devils, while the Maple Leafs suffered their first loss of the season as a massive home favorite against the Chicago Blackhawks. But the thing for me in that game was that I think Toronto might have got caught with their pants down, looking ahead, maybe taking the Chicago Blackhawks a little bit too lightly. And I think there is something to be concerned about with the Florida Panthers. Maybe they finally shook off that Stanley Cup, appearance hangover. But to me, the Panthers are, this to me just feels like a trap line. You're getting the team that won the playoff series at plus money as a home dog. The Toronto Maple Leafs, yeah, they looked crappy in that game against the Chicago Blackhawks. Like I said, I think they were looking ahead to this one. I think that this is a perfect revenge spot. I think this Maple Leafs team comes out hungry. I think they're favored on the road for the reason. That's not me being a biased Leaf fan. I'll admit it. I have my bias towards Toronto. But I just think that the Leafs right now are the better team. I think they come in and get some revenge here. I'm still not all the way back with the Florida Panthers just yet. Give me the Toronto Maple Leafs in this one. Next, we head to Madison Square Garden, where the New York Rangers take on the Nashville Predators. And the New York Rangers, they've been finding ways to sort of ugly up games and find a way to get the job done. I mean, they won 2-1 in their last game against the Arizona Coyotes, a game that I thought the Rangers would come out with a little bit more purpose in and find a way to win on the puck line, but just could not get it done. But on the other hand, you got the Nashville Predators, who have slowly watched the offense decline from their first couple games of the season. They scored 3 goals in each of their first 2, then 2 goals against Boston, and then 1 in a pitiful performance at home against an Edmonton Oilers team that had no solid goaltending through the first few games of the season. To me, if you can't score against the Edmonton Oilers in that goaltending tandem of Skinner or Campbell, you're going to have a hard time scoring against one of the best goaltenders in the world in Igor Shesterkin. I think the Rangers are just a far better team. The Rangers always tend to play their best hockey at home. I think the Rangers get the job done. I don't want to pay this minus 188, though, so I'm going to take the Rangers to win this one in regulation. Get that price down to minus 120, a lot more manageable. Next, we head to the Wells Fargo Center, where the Philadelphia Flyers host the Edmonton Oilers, and the Edmonton Oilers, managing to get their first win of the season, picking up one over the Nashville Predators in emphatic fashion, 6-1. Looked really good in that game, but my concern with the Edmonton Oilers is still the same, and it's not going to go away after one win. The Nashville Predators not necessarily known for being an offensive juggernaut, and I'm just still not sold on the goaltending for the Edmonton Oilers. Now, the Philadelphia Flyers, this is a team that last year, I think they started out really, really well. They came out on a bit of a hot streak. Maybe they're going to do the same this season, and then they kind of flamed out, but I mean, it hasn't happened yet. They have performed well for the most part in two of their first three wins. They just shut out the Vancouver Canucks. They got a solid goaltender in Carter Hart. And head to head, this is a matchup where the home team has dominated. The home team's won 15 of the last 20 meetings between these two teams. The Oilers have lost 4 of their last 5 meetings in Philadelphia. I can take a shot here with the Flyers plus the 1.5. I'll sprinkle a little bit on the money line as well. Next, we head to the XL Energy Center, where the Minnesota Wild take on the Los Angeles Kings, and the Los Angeles Kings finally got off the schneid. They got their first win of the season, taking out the Winnipeg Jets 5-1 in their last game. But I've said it before, and if you've been watching the wraparound, say it with me. I do not trust the goaltending for the Los Angeles Kings. They did not did not make the moves necessary, in my opinion, to improve this team and put them in a better position for the upcoming season. Signing Cam Talbot will not do that for you. So that's where I stand on the Los Angeles Kings. And as much as I like the Kings as sort of an up-and-coming team for the future, as long as he's their goaltender, I'm probably going to make some money fading him this season because Cam Talbot's just one of the guys that I just do not trust. The Minnesota Wild, they play that disciplined style of hockey, and we've seen it time and time again. They got their teeth kicked in by the Toronto Maple Leafs, but came right back, took out the Montreal Canadiens 5-2. And like I said, what we've seen from LA is that they can be wildly inconsistent, and I just don't think they're going to have what it takes to break down the Minnesota Wild here. I think Minnesota gets the job done at home, taking them at the near coin flip price. Next, we head to the Enterprise Center, where the St. Louis Blues take on the Arizona Coyotes, and both these teams have seen some dry spells offensively. I mean, we saw the Blues in their opener score just 1 goal against a stout opponent in the Dallas Stars. Then in their home opener, another 2-1 game. This one was against the Seattle Kraken. And I think that they could have some issues here against an Arizona Coyotes team that I think is going to prove to be a bit feisty and a bit chippy against other teams this season. The Arizona Coyotes were a pushover on the road last season, but I think you're going to start to see Arizona come out with a little bit more grit, try to not be the pushover. They may not win a lot of their games, but they're going to make life difficult for their opponents a lot more often than they did last season. The problem for the Coyotes is that the offense on the road continues to be an issue, or I guess lack thereof. They've scored 1 goal in each of their 1 goal combined in their first 2 road games this season against the Islanders and the Rangers. I think scoring might be an issue here. I think goals are going to come at a premium in this game. I think it's 1-3 wins this one. I'm going with the under 6.5 in this one. Next, we head to the Canada Life Center, where the Winnipeg Jets take on the Vegas Golden Knights in a playoff rematch from last year. Obviously, the Golden Knights won that series, heading on to win the Stanley Cup. And this year, well, been ups and downs for the Winnipeg Jets so far. 1-2, and the 2 games they've lost, they did not look great. And they've allowed 5 goals in each of those games. As a matter of fact, even in the game they won, they still allowed 4 goals. And that's not something that you can do. You're not always going to score 6 goals like the Winnipeg Jets did against the Florida Panthers, especially with the way the Vegas Golden Knights have looked defensively to start the year, allowing just 5 goals in their 4 games so far. And I think that this game is going to be closer to what we saw from Vegas through their first 3 games. Each of those were 4-1 victories. They did narrowly get by the Dallas Stars last time out, but Vegas, they went on a tear in that playoff series last year. And quite frankly, these teams played 8 times last year, and Vegas won 7 of those games. I think we see nothing different here. Does this line look a little bit funky that the Golden Knights are near coin flip here? Sure, but they've been playing the far better hockey. Far be it for me to look a gift horse in the mouth. I'm going to take the Vegas Golden Knights on the money line in this one. Next, we head to the Honda Center, where the Anaheim Ducks take on the Dallas Stars. And, the Anaheim Ducks pulling off one of the bigger upsets of the young season with a 6-3 win over the Carolina Hurricanes in their last matchup, bouncing back from that season-opening loss to Vegas. Meanwhile, Dallas, well, they fell short, unfortunately, against the Dallas Stars. Now, back-to-back shootouts for the Dallas Stars to start the year. Don't know if it's going to be another shootout here for Dallas, but The one thing that I can say about this game is that you look at the three meetings last year, all saw a combined 12 goals between the three meetings. Um, Anaheim was competitive in a couple of them. They won back on January 4th, then took Dallas to a shootout on February 6th. But I think we're going to see some more low scoring hockey here. You know, the Dallas Stars, they've been riding some solid performances from their goaltending through the first couple of games, but they've also only scored 2 goals in each of those first two games. I think we might see, you know, maybe first to 3 wins kind of game here. Don't trust the Anaheim Ducks at the best of times. I think that game against Carolina was more about Carolina getting caught with their pants down than anything else. So I'm going to take the under 6.5 here. Like I said, I think this is first to 3 wins this game, whichever way you slice it. Next, we head to Climate Pledge Arena, where the Seattle Kraken host the Carolina Hurricanes. And for Carolina, it took a Herculean effort to come back from 3-2 down for a 6-3 victory against the San Jose Sharks last time out. Meanwhile, the Seattle Kraken, fourth straight loss. Now, I was initially leaning towards the over because you look, all 4 games for the Carolina Hurricanes this season have gone over the total. You know, they've scored 5 goals, 6 goals, 6 goals in their 3 wins, and gave up 6 in their loss. But even if Carolina gets close single-handedly, I just don't know if I can trust Seattle to help push us over this number, you know, just because they've scored 1 goal or less in each of their 4 games this season. So I'm going to go with the Carolina Hurricanes here, and I'm going to lean towards the under 6.5. I can easily see a 4-1 or 5-1 kind of game here for the Hurricanes, but for me, it's simply a case of until the Seattle Kraken's offense shows up, I'm not going to back them here. And like I said, it's even more alarming that a lot of those sluggish performances came on the road where they played their better hockey last season. So give me the Carolina Hurricanes here with a lean towards the under 6.5 as well. Next, we head to the SAP Center, where the San Jose Sharks take on the Boston Bruins. And the Boston Bruins, you know, they haven't been at their strongest. They haven't looked dominant necessarily through their first couple games, but they've looked pretty good still. I mean, they won 3-1 in their opener against the Blackhawks, 3-2 against the Nashville Predators. But I think this is where we see Boston really come out and break out as they start this West Coast road trip. The San Jose Sharks, yeah, they took the Colorado Avalanche to a shootout earlier this season, but they're still 0-3. You know, they've scored 1 goal in their first 2 games, and last time out against the Carolina Hurricanes, they had a 3-2 lead. The Sharks did in the third period before 4 goals in a span of just over 6 minutes for Carolina. San Jose doing typical Sharks things, and that's looking like one of the worst teams in the NHL. And they've really shown no signs of you know, any desire to improve coming into this season. The Boston Bruins still look like one of the best teams, and they've also won the last 11 head-to-head matchups between these two teams. A lot of those coming by at least 2 goals. I'm taking the Bruins on the puck line in this one. And our final game on Thursday's card takes us to the Ball Arena, where the Colorado Avalanche will take on the Chicago Blackhawks. And you know, both these teams have actually been playing pretty well to start the year. The Colorado Avalanche, you know, just doing Colorado Avalanche things, winning each of their first 3 road games in impressive fashion. A couple of those last time out, stifling the Seattle Kraken. While the Chicago Blackhawks, you know, they've split their first 4 games and, you know, been actually pretty solid defensively in a lot of those. They haven't given up more than 3 goals in any of their games so far this season, and that includes a 4-1 win last time out against the Toronto Maple Leafs. So give the Blackhawks credit where it's due. Now, I think you can make the case either way here. The Avalanche, you know, the far better team in my opinion in this one. Problem is the -1.5 doesn't give you a whole lot of value, and I think that's the only way you can get any sort of value in this game is taking a puck line. On the other side, the Blackhawks hold a lot of value. They just won as a big underdog against Toronto. But like I said, the Avalanche are the far better team here. So rather than mess around with the puck line and trying to figure it out, I wouldn't blame anyone for taking a shot on the Blackhawks, though. The way I'm going to go is I'm going to go under 6.5 for Chicago. The goaltending has been fantastic to keep them in. I never thought I'd say that, but Mrazek and Soderblom have been playing pretty well out of the gate. And Colorado, you know, whether it's Georgiev or whoever the backup is, I can't remember off the top of my head. I think this is going to be just a low-scoring battle. I think it could be a 4-2 or 4-1 kind of game. So I'm going to take the under 6.5 here to round things out. That's it. That's all the NHL action for Thursday, October 19th, 2023. If you like this video, make sure you smash that like button and subscribe to our channel. Also, make sure you have notifications turned on to get the newest and most up-to-date content here at Pick Dawgz. And a reminder, if you're looking for my best bets, check out Pick Dawgz Premium and let me know your NHL picks in the comment section below. Thanks for watching. Good luck.